Now, the killing of Jamal Khashoggi shows just how dangerous it can be for journalists around the world. Now, the Committee to Protect Journalists, or CPJ, has released this year's Impunity Index, shining a light on countries where members of the media are murdered and their killers go free. Somalia tops the list for a fourth year in a row. Some of the other nations include Mexico, India, Russia, and Syria. According to the index, in the past decade, at least 324 journalists have been silenced through murder worldwide, and in 85% of these cases, no perpetrators have been convicted. It is an emboldening message to those who seek to censor and control the media through violence. So let's break it all down with the author of the Impunity Index, Elisabeth Witchel. She joins me now by Skype from Manchester, England. Elisabeth, thank you for joining us. This year, 2018, has been a brutal year for reporters. Are you seeing an increase in the number of journalists being targeted and killed for their work?
We have definitely seen an increase this year over last year, and of course the year is not over yet. So the number of journalists who have been murdered, specifically in connection to their work, is significantly higher than last year. It's not historically a high. There were higher numbers back at the height of some of the conflicts in Iraq and other areas when journalists were targeted amidst those. But we are seeing an uptick over last year.
Yeah, very worrying effect there. I wanted to ask you about the impact of rhetoric from the U.S. president. Has Donald Trump's attacks on the media in the U.S. filter through and spread to communities all around the world in a dangerous way?
I would say very much so. We're seeing a very, very concerning level of rhetoric coming out of many countries, including some on this list. So one of the countries on this list is the Philippines, and the president there has in the past suggested journalists have deserved the attacks that they are victims of. We've seen candidates in Brazil talk and use hostile rhetoric against journalists. So this combination, I think we're seeing, first of all, when it's happening from the president of the United States, it's giving a bit of a license to other leaders in the world to speak in a way. And this is very much increasing the vulnerability of journalists. We're talking about this week is the International Day to End Impunity in the murders of journalists. And in a context where what we want to see is governments aggressively prosecuting attackers against journalists, what we're really seeing is they're encouraging violence against journalists.